Welcome to the Josh Gerben Show, because law school didn't teach business.
Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of the Josh Gerben Show. This is a show that I'm creating to try to discuss the business around our profession, the business of law. I am such a huge believer that if attorneys would stop and think about all the business implications of their day-to-day life, and not just about the brief they're writing or the particular issues of the case that they're working on, that we would all have much more fulfilled legal careers. So I hope you've enjoyed the first 4 episodes, and today I want to talk to you a little bit less about something that's functional in the practice of law, but more of a mindset issue, and that is the mindset of being a hustler. All right, this is something that's near and dear to my heart because I grew up in a family business where my dad worked 7 days a week to make the business work. Okay, he was a hustler in my mind. When I started my practice 11 years ago, I had no clients. I had nothing. It was literally me and a computer and a telephone. And I had to build that into a law practice of multiple attorneys, thousands of clients, and a law firm that has essentially been around now for 11 years. So I am a true believer that if you want to work really hard and you want to achieve really interesting things in life, you can. But I'm a believer that you have to do it. You have to be a hustler, right? And that word, if you're familiar with the startup space and entrepreneurialism, it comes a lot from that, right? So a lot of people that are in business for themselves, a lot of people that are trying to start businesses talk about the hustle. It's a word that resonates with me. It's a word that's resonated with me since day one of starting my law practice. So I think everybody has a different interpretation of what it means to hustle. And some people just think, oh, that means you're working 18-hour days, you never take a break, and this, that, and the other. And that is not the case, okay? So I think if you're going to think about your legal career and really hustling, okay, to make your legal career great, I think you're talking about doing 4 things. The first is that you do work hard, okay? I think it's very important that you work hard, but that you work hard the right way. The second is that you're willing to put yourself out there to develop new business for your practice or your law firm. The third is that you have foresight to know that whatever you're doing today is going to affect future you in 4 or 5 years. And the fourth is that you just enjoy what you do. A hustle is not a job. It's something fun. So the first part of really being a hustler is wanting to work hard for what you're trying to achieve. And I think a lot of attorneys will say, well, wait a second, aren't we a profession that, bills 2,500 hours a year and just burns everybody out? Yes, that certainly happens. But that's not the type of work I'm talking about, okay? First off, there's a lot of attorneys out there that just say, you know what, I want to confine my work Monday to Friday, 9 hours a day, 8 hours a day, not be working on the weekends, not be working at nights. It's the whole idea of this work-life balance that has really come into play because of the fact that attorneys have been burning themselves out for so many years. But I'm going to tell you that you are not going to achieve greatness in your legal career if that's what you're striving for. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it if that's what you want to do, if you want to have that work-life balance, especially as you're building your career. That's fine, but don't expect things to happen fast for you. And expect the ceiling will not be as high. And again, I don't look down upon that. I think if that's what you want for your career, that's perfectly fine. But when I started my law firm 11 years ago, I knew it wouldn't be a 9-to-5 job. Okay, I knew it would be all-encompassing. But I love that. Like that's what I wake up to do every single day. And I have worked nights and weekends for 11 years. If you talk to my wife, she will tell you that since I started the firm, she's known me, I have not taken a day where I don't do any work in 11 years. Now, there's some days where I don't do a ton, right? But it's always on my mind. It's always something I'm working on, and it's always something I'm trying to make better. And when you talk about that, and you talk about trying to work really hard, you have to think about working the right way. And what I mean by this is that if you are sitting there billing 2,500 hours a year for somebody else and somebody else's clients, the partner in your firm, whatever it may be, that's not working the right way to make your career better. Because at the end of the year, you will have 2,500 billable hours to show for it. You will probably get a pretty nice bonus. But now what's next year? You haven't built anything to let you achieve greater success next year except for continue to just sell your time. And then the next year and the next year and the next year. So what you need to do is you need to be able to pull back from whatever billable hour requirement you have if you're in that situation, or if you're in a situation where you're running a law firm, you need to pull back from the work that you're doing for clients or hire people to do some of that work and be able to put your energy, especially, at the nights when you can go to dinners and meetings and conferences on the weekends. You need to be able to take that time and build your business. So working hard as an attorney does not mean billing more hours than the next guy. It means working on all the things that will build a client base and a practice for you. Again, you could be working in a law firm, billing all these hours. It doesn't get you to where you want to go necessarily. Same thing if you're running a law firm, people get complacent. They say, oh, I'm really busy right now. I have all this client work. Well, guess what? It might not be busy in 3 months. When you're the busiest is when you should be doing the most new business development because you don't need it. You won't seem desperate. And when that client's ready for you in 4 or 5 months, you'll have laid all the groundwork. So really what we're talking about here is having a work-hustle balance, right? Not a work-life balance, but a work-hustle balance, so that you're not just sitting there grinding away, billing on client matters, but you're actually going out there and hustling, developing your business, developing relationships that will bring in business in the future. And that, to me, is the hard work that you need to be doing. Now, the second part of hustling is just wanting to put yourself out there for business development, okay? I think there's a lot of attorneys, even those that own their own law firms, that shun the business development side of it. They just want the work to be there. They want to be the lawyer. They want to write the brief. They want to, advise the client on whatever it is, but they don't want to be putting themselves out there. And that is a problem. In today's world, it is extremely important for attorneys to develop relationships, because relationships sell legal services. And that could mean that you write a lot of blogs. It could mean you put videos on the web. It could mean that you show up at conferences and you give presentations on your area of law. It could mean a lot of different things. You could organize meetups. Anything you can think of to create relationships in your life with people that might eventually need your services is something you need to be doing. And that is part of being a hustler. It's not just sitting there and, again, billing hours. It's about putting yourself out there. And that is just something that's uncomfortable, but I promise you that if you do it, good things will come. At the end of the day, attorneys that can fish and feed themselves and other people around them are typically the most valuable attorneys for their particular firm. Okay, so if you have a partner in your firm that's the rainmaker, right, and brings in all of the work, that is one of the most valuable people in the firm and one of the most protected people in the firm. If you're a really good attorney and you're just billing hours, you'll probably have a stable job until there's some problem, like a recession, which, by the way, we're due for, or something happens with the firm you're at and there's a financial issue and they have to cut people. Guess who the first person to go is? It's somebody that doesn't bring in any business to the firm. So having the ability to go fish for yourself, especially if you work at a firm, gives you great job security and probably vastly increases the chance you're going to make partner very early on in your career. Now, if you're on your own, again, it seems obvious. You've got to go fish for yourself. But many solos, many people in small businesses have a few clients that are basically paying the bills, right? And keeping the lights on and keeping things turning. And they're not spending the time to really hone the craft of being able to fish for new clients. And that's just something that, as a hustler, you need to take the time to do. You need to take the time to learn about and execute. Now, my third element here is having foresight. And what I mean is this. Look, when you decided you wanted to be a lawyer, the first thing you did, study for and take the LSAT. And when you were doing that, you had the foresight that in 4 to 5 years, you would be, hopefully, if you passed every test that came along, sworn in to the bar and be an attorney and have the ability to make money as an attorney, right? So that's a 4 or 5 year process. And we all, as attorneys, had the foresight that that was worth it. It was worth our investment in whatever LSAT prep course we took. It was worth the investment of time to take the LSAT. and everything that followed, the application process, getting into a school, your first year, all the work that's included, all the way through graduation, taking the bar. And what I find is funny, or ironic, is that most attorneys get into the practice of law and shut all that down. And their sole focus is on, what am I billing today? What am I going to make this year? I know very few attorneys that look out past a year and say, oh, in 5 years, I'd like to be here. They might say, oh, I'd like to be partner, but there's no real, besides like, I'm just going to sit here and work. That's it, right? That's their plan, is to sit there and work and hope somebody, taps them on the shoulder and makes them partner. Or if you have your own firm, what's the goal? Do you want to have a couple attorneys helping you out? Do you want to add to your client base? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Do you have a plan? Most of the time, the answer is no. And it's shocking, okay? Because we're in a profession where to get here, we had to look out 4 or 5 years. So everything you're doing now will affect where you're going to be in 5 years. Nothing happens overnight. If you decide today, you know what, I'm going to get on social media and start making a name for myself. Or you say, you know what, I'm going to start attending conferences to try to build my relationship with people so that I can get clients. You're not going to go to one conference and get clients. You're not going to put up one post and get clients. You're going to have to, for years, do this. And eventually, you will become known to people, and eventually, they will need you for something. But it does not happen overnight, and it's likely a 4 or 5 year process. So you need to plan today very specific things you need to start doing right now, and you need to do them every single day for 5 years. Just like for every single day for 5 years, you did something for law school. Okay? You either took the LSAT, you got your applications in, you went to class every day, you studied for this test, you studied for that test. All the things you did to become a lawyer, you did day in and day out. And the same principles apply for where you want to be in 5 years now. The only problem is there's no structure, right? There's no school. It's not like somebody can tell you, oh, take this test, go to this class, take this test, go to this class, take the bar, and poof, there you are. Here's where you want to be. There's not that structure anymore, and that's the difference. You have to make the structure. And that's really hard, right? But that's why if you're a hustler, you're thinking about these things, and you're trying to make the plan for the future. So my final point on what it means to be a hustler is to love what you do. Okay, we're not in this just to make money. Okay, we're not in this just to build up our own reputation so people will think highly of us and that. You're in it to have fun, to enjoy your life. Okay, I love running my law firm. It's just what I love to do. And it wakes me up in the morning. It gets me out of bed. I look forward to it. And if you don't, then you have to really evaluate where you are, because you can't put in the work and you can't work all these extra hours because it feels like work. It has to feel like your hobby. It has to feel like what you want to do, what your purpose is. And that's a very difficult thing for anybody to find. But I highly encourage you not to just grind yourself and work yourself to the bone because you want to make more money or you want to make partner or you want your law firm to be bigger. You have to do it for the right reasons, and that's because you love doing it. And if you don't love doing it, it's not a hustle. It's a job. And the idea behind a hustle is that it's fun. The word sounds fun, right? We're hustling. I mean, they make songs after this, right? They make songs around this word all the time, and they're all fun. And because that's what it's supposed to be. So if you're not in that place and you don't feel like it would be fun to go out and meet people and go to conferences and put things on social media and write articles and just put yourself out there and have a whole plan of developing business for yourself, then don't do it. But if you really want it and you really want to get to a place where you own your career and you're making a lot of progress in your career, leaps and bounds among everybody else, then be a hustler. Because if you outwork people, I guarantee you good things will come. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please share it with a friend. I'm trying to get the word out about the show, and the more people we can get it to, the better. Also, just leave a rating or a review, subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel, however you're consuming the content. Please just let me know that you're watching it. Let me know what you think. And if you have an idea for a topic you'd like me to discuss, please send that in as well. Thank you so much, and I'll see you at the next show.